Chapter 2166, The Underground Wulwan Empire. After confirming that everything was ready, Zhang Yi took advantage of the night to leave Blizzard City and headed toward the Wulwan Empire. He did not choose to fly through the sky, but instead chose to burrow underground. This was to avoid being detected by the enemy's spies, as the passageway was a heavily guarded entrance and exit. In the darkness, he was cloaked in a layer of black fabric, following satellite guidance to approach the region where the Wulwan Empire was located. Upon reaching the area, he took several deep breaths. Though he had made thorough preparations, his heart still raced slightly upon entering an unfamiliar, powerful civilization that harbored hostility toward him. This was somewhat amusing. After all, if the people of the Wulwan Empire knew who he was and what he carried, it should be the entire Wulwan Empire that should be afraid. Let's go. Even if things go badly, I can always escape. Zhang Yi said to himself, then activated his space shuffle ability and dove deep into the earth. The Wulwan Empire was located 20,000 meters below the Earth's surface, with a three-dimensional space structure, a population of 2,700, and a vast territory. Due to their long-term existence in the underground world, their defense systems were extremely well developed. To enter from the outside, one first had to pass through the Eye of Heaven surveillance system. It covered the entire Wulwan Empire, from the sky to the underground, like a giant eggshell, providing defense for the empire. Additionally, surveillance cameras are scattered throughout the entire kingdom, leaving almost no blind spots. Zhang Yi, wrapped in a black night cloak, assessed his position and made several stealthy movements before suddenly finding himself in this enormous underground cavern. This was not his first time underground, but he swore it was the most spectacular sight he had ever seen in his life. This was an immense kingdom, too vast to be described as a city. Even from the sky, its full extent was impossible to discern. The Wulwan Empire was divided into 3 layers, corresponding to different social classes of lizard men. On the horizontal plane, it was further divided into 5 urban districts. Apart from the central region where the imperial city was located, the 4 cardinal directions each housed a super-large city garrisoned by troops. Zhang Yi stood atop the sky, looking down at the bustling city below. Despite the darkness of night, the city was still ablaze with lights, and various spacecraft crisscrossed the sky. Most of the ongoing construction projects in the city were being carried out by mechanical lifeforms. Further in the distance, in the sparsely populated vast regions, there were abundant mineral deposits. Many of the Totoro-like creatures were responsible for mining there, their claws and fangs proving more effective than large mechanical equipment. Zhang Yi felt a bit dizzy, standing in the sky above such a brightly lit nation, experiencing a sense of panic as if he were naked and being observed by everyone. Zhang Yi increased the oxygen supply in his armor, took a deep breath, and his excitement gradually subsided. There's no need to be nervous. Relax and keep your mind clear to act rationally. Zhang Yi thought of the numerous Reaper of Love and Ling in the dimensional space, which calmed him down. His first task was to survey this vast kingdom. He began filming various scenes from high above. The demon god armor had built-in stealth functions, and combined with the dark night cloak, he could remain undetected from high above. He surveyed the magnificent and gorgeous mountains and rivers 20,000 meters below. That's right, beneath the earth, there were mountains and rivers, rushing rivers and waterfalls, as well as towering peaks. The beauty of technology coexists with the natural landscape. Zhang Yi records the vast scenery with his smart device, cross-referencing it with the intelligence provided by the 6 silver armor warriors. The locations of the 4 major military regions are here. If we attack, we must capture these areas first. However, the most troublesome part is their advanced fire network. Even if I had 100 times more of my Reaper of Love devices, it would be impossible to level this entire area in one go. We must destroy the key strategic points. The energy plant. No, that's too valuable to destroy. I'll need it later to replenish my warehouse. Then let's target the military district's armory first. And the palace. Zhang Yi saw the vast, magnificent buildings in the center of the kingdom, emitting a jet black color like glass, luxurious and awe-inspiring. Forget it. The royal family is just a bunch of symbols. Killing them wouldn't make much of a difference and would only provoke the anger of the people below. It's better to find a location where they've hidden their doomsday weapons. Zhang Yi flew through the sky at a leisurely pace, undetected by anyone. After all, the Emperor's most powerful space ability user had been killed by him not long ago. He recorded everything he saw. However, from such a high altitude, he couldn't see the entire picture. To obtain more information, he still needed to infiltrate the Empire for further observation. I don't have much time to observe everything. So, I'd better go find you first. With that thought, Zhang Yi completed his aerial survey and finally activated Space Shuffle to cross the spherical surveillance network of the Eye of Heaven. However, just as he was crossing, the Emperor's Security Control Center suddenly sounded an alarm. Alarm! Alarm! Node 46528.324 has detected abnormal fluctuations in space. Fluctuation level, 0.02. The alarm echoed through the security room, and red lights flickered like blood. The lizard-like staff on night duty rushed over and quickly pulled up the surveillance footage of that area. A fluctuation in the space at a level 0.02 meant that there was no severe collision. However, there was an energy reaction, and in such a tense situation, they dared not take any chances. However, after reviewing the footage multiple times, they did not see any abnormalities in that area. Neither optical surveillance instruments, infrared sensors, nor sonar radars detected any signs of biological or mechanical presence. A staff member exhaled deeply. That was a close call. I thought something really happened. Another lizard-like individual picked up a cup of hot drink and chuckled. Even the Eye of Heaven system can make mistakes sometimes. The first lizard man shrugged. Well, it's a system that covers the entire area of the Emperor's empire, so it's bound to have a few glitches. But as long as it's not a major issue, it doesn't matter. After all, if a war were to break out, such a minor problem wouldn't affect the bigger picture, right? The night watchmen exchanged glances and none of them intended to report the incident. Because if it was reported, it would become a major issue, triggering investigations from various departments. If nothing was found in the end, they might be disciplined for making a mountain out of a molehill. So the best course of action was to pretend nothing had happened. They had been getting by like this for so many years, it wasn't like something would go wrong this time, was it? Chapter 2167, A Paradise Beyond the World. Zhang Yi arrived in the territory of the Wulwan Kingdom, a land of bliss where everything was beautiful. The level of technology was many years ahead of humanity. Although it was night, the nightlife here was as rich as it had been before the end of humanity. The lights were dazzling, the lizard people were reveling in debauchery, and various entertainment options were endless. Everything seemed so harmonious and beautiful. If one didn't consider what they had done to the Huashu kingdom in their attempt to ambush Zhang Yi, he would have felt a tiny bit reluctant to destroy this place. Enjoy your final moments of pleasure. People must always pay the price for their mistakes. However, I can assure you that this beautiful land and everything in it will be mine. Zhang Yi was currently in an absolute stealth state. As long as he didn't make any special moves, he couldn't be detected by anyone or any equipment. He didn't have the leisure to stroll around here. Instead, he went to as remote a place as possible and sprinkled perfume there. To ensure he could contact Juyu, he roamed through various districts of the Wulwan Empire, leaving this scent in multiple locations. If what Li Lingxue said was true, this scent would be like a septic tank explosion to Juyu, so she would definitely be able to smell it. I hope you're still alive. At least come and enrich my intelligence database. Zhang Yi thought to himself. He dared not make any more obvious moves. He only dared to observe the central districts from a distance. The imperial family lived here, and this area was home to a large number of elite warriors from the Wulwan Empire, including the Hades gatekeeper, Jing Lu. Even with perfect stealth capabilities, he wouldn't risk it at this moment. Zhang Yi moved stealthily, using intelligence to probe each area and map out every street. Once the war began, there would inevitably be street fighting, and the soldiers needed to be familiar with the environment. Not long after, Zhang Yi's communication device picked up a special frequency. The entire Huashu kingdom used the same communication system, so when a new device appeared in the vicinity, the other party could actively transmit a signal to be received. Zhang Yi glanced at it. It was a single sentence. "Who are you?" Zhang Yi instinctively looked around and replied, "I am from the Huashu kingdom. I'm here to assist you. I need your intelligence. If you need help, I can provide it." There was no further communication for a long time, but Zhang Yi patiently waited. Sure enough, he received another message from Zhu Yu. "Come to this location, and I will meet you." The address Zhu Yu gave Zhang Yi was a sewer in a remote part of the city. Zhang Yi reached out and touched Ling in the dimensional space, then he was slapped across the face. She was still there, so she was safe. Zhang Yi then set off for the place where Zhu Yu was. He observed carefully along the way and arrived at that area. The second hand of time did not detect any danger. However, he saw something interesting. Zhang Yi spoke to the black and gray sewer pipe, "I'm here, show yourself." The next moment, the dark and filthy sewer pipe began to wriggle, and a lizard-like creature emerged from above, quickly transforming into a dark-clad girl. A pair of pitch-black pupils, so large they occupied 7/10 of her eye sockets, stared at Zhang Yi. "Are you Chaos?" Zhang Yi crossed his arms and asked with interest, "How did you know it was me?" "No one else dares to come here except you," Zhu Yu answered honestly. Zhang Yi noticed that Zhu Yu's voice sounded off, her breath seemed weak, and even her lips were covered in a layer of white mist. "Are you injured?" Zhang Yi asked. Zhu Yu lowered her head in shame. "I underestimated them. The people here are very powerful. I couldn't defeat them, so I had to flee." Zhang Yi fell silent for a moment, unsure of what to say. Even if it were him, without Ling's human body to protect him, coming here would have resulted in certain death. He would have been killed by the people of the three realms. What a reckless fool. He cursed inwardly. "Didn't you bring any healing medicine with you when you left?" Zhu Yu looked at him with pleading eyes and shook his head honestly. "I didn't expect this when I left." Zhang Yi fell silent again for a moment. "You didn't even bring any food, did you?" This time, Zhu Yu finally nodded, "I did. I brought some compressed biscuits with me, they're easy to store. But I finished them soon after arriving here, so I've been stealing their food. The lizard people's food is strange, it's as hard as stones and makes my teeth hurt." "Look," she said, afraid that Zhang Yi wouldn't believe her, and pulled open her mouth to show him her little fangs. Zhang Yi looked down and saw that her mouth was covered in blisters. It seemed like she had had a tough time lately. Zhang Yi took out some medicine from the dimensional space and handed it to her, then pulled out some delicious food. Zhu Yu didn't hesitate at all. She first swallowed the medicine, then squatted down on the ground and began eating greedily. Zhang Yi sat down beside her and watched her devour the food. After watching for a while, he finally asked, "Why did you come here?" Zhu Yu blinked her big eyes, her gaze still as ethereal as before, but without the hatred and madness she had once felt toward the world. "I came here to find food." Her answer was incredibly honest, leaving Zhang Yi speechless. "You came all the way here to find food? Do you even know where this place is?" There are lots of big lizards here. I ate them during the war, and they tasted amazing. So when I sensed their presence, I came over." Hee hee. She laughed happily, licking her lips, unsure whether it was because Zhang Yi's food was delicious or because she was reminiscing about the taste of devouring the origin of those silver armor general. Is there any more?" She finished what she was eating and looked at Zhang Yi with pleading eyes. After all, she hadn't had any proper human food for a long period of time. Zhang Yi opened the dimensional space and gave her another pile of food. "What have you been doing here for this time? Tell me about it." Zhang Yi wasn't in a hurry to leave. As long as he didn't do anything deliberately, no one would notice his presence. The feeling of hiding in an enemy country and acting in secret was strangely thrilling, like playing a game. Zhu Yu then recounted everything that had happened during that time. "I was just looking for food." Why are they chasing me everywhere? When we were in Blizzard City, Dad always did the same thing. Jiu looked completely confused.